Hi guys, so I was asked by somebody that saw one of my videos to do a rig tour, so I thought I'd put something together today. I'll go through the hardware and the software that I use and a bit about how I've configured things, and hopefully that helps you with however you set up your rig. You might find some ideas in here that you find useful. So, and also I'll probably do a very quick review on some of the hardware I'm using, what I think of it. Nothing too in depth, but just some of it. Let's start with the wheel. So let me just move cameras here. So this is a new wheel I've added to my collection. This is a GRID P911 RSR replica, and I've been waiting a little while for this wheel. It's I think I waited 5 months, something like that. But they're shipping now, so you can get them. The quality of the wheel is phenomenal. The grips are really grippy. I run without gloves with this wheel, no problem. You can of course use gloves. They're comfortable. The grips to me are one of the most important, if not the most important things. So I'm pretty particular about my grips. And I've got three wheels that I'll talk about quickly and kind of compare and contrast them a bit. The shifters on this wheel are by far the best shifters. They're not that noisy. They're very precise. There's no slop. Like there's no play at all. Sorry, you can't see that, but there's no play in the shifter at all. The Ascher one that I have, there's more play. The screen is bigger than my Rexing Mayaris wheel, which I quite like, and it's a Vocore screen, so it's easier to read. I find it. All the buttons feel great. The rotary encoders are really good. So yeah, I quite like this, and it's kind of fun. I decided to sign up to be part of their beta program, so helping them update their firmware. So I gave them an idea of being able to control the LEDs by certain button pushes, which they're now implementing. So that was kind of fun. Anyway, so great wheel, really happy with it. I did the Suzuka 10 hour with it as soon as I got it, and it was dead reliable. The other wheel I have here is obviously the Ascher. This is the V3. The grips are a little different than the V2. I think they're a little thicker up here. Also a great grip. The one difference between these two wheels, I mean, obviously the diameter on the Ascher's, line it up on the left, you can see it's a fair amount. That's about a centimeter narrower, so it gives you a quicker response. But you know, both pros and cons. I find this size wheel more to my liking, but I can equally get used to this size. The shifters are very good on this. There's more play in the shifter. I mean, it really doesn't affect your performance. It's just a feel thing. The clutches are probably better on the Ascher. I find the clutch on this wheel, the engages just a little too quickly, but the clutch on the Ascher is a little bit more smooth, and I find it easier to manage. If you don't need or want a screen, this would be the one I would recommend. But if you like a screen, then the GRID is the one I'd recommend. Pedal wise, can you see the pedals? I don't think so. Let's see. Oh, didn't mean to break that off. I can't really. I'll show the pedals when I come around back. But the pedals are the VRS pedals. I quite like them. I've had the HE Ultimates. I've had SimTag hydraulics. I've had the Aztecs.
Martin, your oil temperature's getting a bit high.
Yeah, okay, Jim. I know. Relax. The Aztecs, I've tried those. The hydraulic ones, I didn't really like them that much. The ergonomics of the pedals, they were too vertical. Not a lot of adjustability. I didn't like them being so close together, and I found it harder to understand what the limit of the pedal was when you're trying to maximize the brakes. The VRS I found to be the best in that regard. It's just easier to know when you're at that max braking point out of all the pedals I've tried. Okay, so monitors, you can see I've got triples. These are the G7 Samsungs, which are the 32-inch. They're 32-inch G7s. They're 240 megahertz, 1440p. 240 is overkill. 165 is more than enough. So the G5s I think would be a better buy. But you know, I when I'm running on my own, yeah, I can get the 240s. But in a race, I kind of average FPS is the 180s. So you know, I'm running a bit higher than what a 165 could do, but I'm not getting to the 240. Okay, so what else should I? Oh, I have an upper monitor which you can't see, I don't think. Yeah, there's an upper monitor up here. So on the left, I have OBS typically running. On the right, I typically have Discord for talking to my teammates. And you can see up here I've got a mic. This is a Blue Yeti mic, and I'll give you a better perspective of that in a minute. If I use this camera, yeah. So this is the Yeti mic. I used to have my camera up here, but I found that the Yeti mic was just, I don't know, it was just too much in the frame. So then I moved my camera down to down here where I'm pointing, which is mounted to my frame holding my monitors with a little arm, and so it's comes underneath my monitor. It's actually further away than my actual monitor, just to give more field of view. But that's basically it. What else should I show you? Oh, I'm going to show you a bit of the back of the rig, and please no comments on the really bad wiring. The wiring is a mess. So let me just go show you. Let me put this camera on because I can move that one around pretty easily. So it's a nice snowy day here up in Toronto, Canada. Well, the snow isn't too bad, but it's getting there. Anyway, at least it's not like Buffalo. So here's the pedals. This should be locked into this here, so it's not in the way of my pedals. But VRS pedals, I quite like the way they're set up. Hopefully you can see it, and I haven't mishandled the camera. I've gone for the harder spring, and I forget the distance I have in here, but it's something like 40 millimeters between the end of the nut and the end of the nut. That's how I like it. It just seems to ramp up the pressure nicely. No adjustments really on the gas pedal. It works quite well. So the frame that I use is a Trakracer, solid rig. I've used it for a couple of years now, and it's been awesome. And I've got a couple of trays for my keyboard here in the left, or my right when I'm in the rig, and then another tray over here for just odds and ends that I want to have handy, like a cup of coffee or something. Then I have another holder here for my Ascher wheel, just to have easy access to it, and that way it can always be plugged in if I need to hot swap. PC-wise, it's an NZXT PC with a 4090 and Intel 12th Gen 12900K. So it's got good power. It runs pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it. The monitor frame is also Trakracer, and it's what holds the triples. And then I just had this cheap arm that I bought, I think at Best Buy. I didn't use the normal arm that a lot of rigs will have. This just seemed to work fine. I just added some extra profile here to mount it, and that was it. And again, sorry for the really bad wiring, but no judgment, please. And I used this thing. I forget what this was actually for, but it worked out well for holding the power supplies for my Simucube. And that's what the Wheelbase is, a Simucube Pro. The one thing about the GRID wheel, by the way, is it comes with its own little extra power adder, I guess, to inject a bit more power into the actual wheel itself. And I hooked up some hue-based lighting in here, which just to give a bit more lighting when I'm streaming, which seems to be okay. And I've got another one on the floor over here. Oh, and then I guess the last thing I should talk about is this Rexing wheel that I have. So this is a Rexing wheel. Very good wheel, actually. In fact, this has been my favorite wheel for quite a while. The grips are probably the most comfortable grips that I've had. They're more comfortable than either the Ascher or the GRID. Not that the Ascher and the GRID are not comfortable, but these are just the edge here. The way this forms is just a bit more gradual compared to the GRID. Here, let me change cameras. Let me just move that down a bit. Yeah, it's a bit awkward, but anyway. So what I'm trying to say is the edge, the way the thumb fits in here, like there's a bit more of an edge there, and this is a bit more rounded. And so, you know, when you're doing long endurance racing, I find this a bit more comfortable. Also, these grips are wider compared to the GRID. Again, I'm not saying these are not comfortable. They're very comfortable, but these are just more comfortable. The other thing about this wheel is that it's carbon fiber chassis, so there's well over a pound difference between this wheel and this one. It's probably a pound and a half between these two wheels. I use pounds just for Americans. And that's because this is a carbon fiber chassis versus this is aluminum, and this has a bigger screen. I much prefer this screen over this one. It's bigger, so it's easier for an old man like me to see because, you know, it's so close to you, it's sometimes hard. The rotaries on the Rexing are probably too easy to turn, like they spin too easily, versus these that require more force, so I think that's better. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, the shifters on these are good. They're quiet. And they initially had the arms were too short, but now the revised version has these longer arms on it, so it's good now. I think I did a review of this about 10 months ago. There's a longer review if you want to take a look at it. But that's about it. Oh, and then the if you want to learn more about our race team, one moment, please. Is this it? Oh. I think that's it. There we go. So too many monitors and trying to get the right one up here. So our race team is SimCity Racing, and I don't know why it went away. We are looking for higher end drivers right now, like 7-8K level drivers, if you're interested. And yeah, we started about 6 months ago, 8 months ago, something like that, back in March, whatever that works out to. And we've got some good partners like Jordan and Monster and Cowbush, who's a good friend of the owner of this team, and Bruzy, and so we've got some good partnerships and working on more. And we've got a good roster. So if we look at the team, you know, there's a good number of people that we've got on the team here. Call it 15-ish, something like that. So anyway, if you're interested in joining a good team, we have a lot of fun. We work hard. We put a lot of energy into our races, and we're looking to get faster. So if you're a 7-8K driver and you're interested in a fun team, reach out to me. Anyway, so that's kind of what the rig is about. Oh, and I have a Stream Deck on the right here. Hold on one second. Let me just move this up so I can see what I've got up here. So if I pull this wheel off, you can see it. So I've got a Stream Deck on the left, sorry, not on the right. And this is mainly just for me to control things like, you know, what's going on with the stream, I use it to control muting and iRacing, and yeah, that's about it. Oh, and if I want to play music in the background, I can control music. And in OBS, you can now control the audio that you can hear. So I have buttons on here that say, disable the browser, so I can listen to music, but that doesn't display on my stream, so I don't get copyright infringements. So that's basically it. Hopefully this was helpful, and if you have any questions, send me a message. Cheers.